Good morning, Malaysia, and welcome to Bernama. Today, Jared Ratnam keeping you company on a Tuesday morning. Of course, we've got a little change to the format this morning. We'll be bringing you news on the go towards the end of the show, simply because we wanted to bring you two important guests. One of them sits with me right here. I'm sure you've seen this face on TV before, and we're talking about RTM News, Mohana Priya. She's been reading the news for the longest time, and she's also a big part of Miss Malaysia Indian Global. She's the operations director. She was, in fact, Miss Malaysia Indian 2001, and she's here with us. Mohana, thank you very much for joining us on a Tuesday morning. It's good to have you here. And well, what's been up with you, or what have you been up to in the past so many years? You've been reading the news for the longest time, and also doing this on the side.
I know sound so old, the longest time.
Well, I mean, 2001 is no secret.
Well, actually, I started with radio. So
with radio?
I did. I did radio for 3 years.
Which radio is this?
Astro, actually.
Oh, right. Oh, you work for Astro Radio, yeah? Okay.
And then I moved on to TV. So I've been with TV for about 8 years now.
Right. So in Astro Radio, which radio were you actually attached to?
Light FM.
Oh, with Light FM.
Yeah, actually, I was in charge of producing the news. I was a writer-producer and a presenter for the news. Right. So I was doing radio news first.
Writer-producer and presenter for the news.
Writer-presenter, yeah.
Right.
That's right.
And so after 3 years of doing radio, you didn't quite like it?
No, not that. It was time to move on, try something new, enhance my skills. The audition for TV actually happened by accident. I was bringing a group of girls, finalists of our previous batches of the pageant, and I ended up auditioning. So I got shortlisted, and that's how the story goes.
Well, you won Miss Malaysia Indian 2001. That was, what, 13 years ago?
That's right.
And you've moved on to be the operations director. Let's talk about that transition from being Miss Malaysia Indian to the operations director, and what kept you going and doing what you do?
Well, the first thing I must tell you, Gerard, is that winning the title way back in 2001 was a life-changing episode for me. It was a game changer, because it really built up my self-confidence and self-esteem. Although I did a bit of modeling before that, it was part-time, and modeling doesn't really do what the pageant did for me, because we were put through a lot of training programs which were aimed at developing our personal and professional skills in terms of self-esteem development, skills building, speaking in public. The whole idea about starting the pageant was so that we have an enhanced sense of grooming and presentation when it comes to going out. And of course, it was a culture-sensitive pageant.
A culture-sensitive.
Culture-sensitive, so there was no swimwear.
Right. Okay, no swimwear. Like most pageants in this country. If my younger sister's watching, I'm sure she'll understand too. She took part in Miss Malaysia years ago. That's how old you are.
So the idea is about celebrating the heritage and cultural identity. So as long as you're at least half Indian, you qualify to take part in this, because we are celebrating the cultural unity of the Indian girls.
So when we talk about celebrating the cultural unity of the Indian girls, and we call it the Miss Malaysia Indian, how does this work with the One Malaysia theme, and talking about integration and making people learn more about integration, especially the younger generation?
Well, that's a good question, Gerard, because when I say we are celebrating our cultural identity, that is just about the grand finals and having the heritage segment. But every other component in the pageant is actually an inclusive element. It's not exclusive. For example, the Community and Environment Awareness Program, where the girls go through, which is the semi-final segment, actually involves a whole team of multiracial professors and scientists and all who come to collaborate. So that segment is where every other race comes in. It's not just that segment. When it comes to the evening wear, we've got 3 designers who'll be designing for us this year. Our designers in the past have come from MODA, Malaysian Official Designers Association, and none of them are Indian, to be honest. We've had Chinese designers and Malay designers, and our hairdressers are Chinese. So we're all Malaysians, and we understand that. And the idea is about bringing Malaysians together. But when it comes to Miss Malaysia Indian Global, we'd like to celebrate our culture. So that's why we have the Indian element is emphasized.
And you said what you want to do is take, or rather take girls to another stage, which is the professional stage, when you talk about grooming, talk about public speaking. You know, you learn, you go through the whole gamut or the works as to what you need to equip you for to celebrate life, so to speak. But these girls are picked from an audition, right?
Yes.
There's a kind of a process that they have to go through.
There is.
Only a select few get to go through this training?
See, our training segments start from day one. From the time they register. I think over the years, now we're 15 years old now, we've gained the reputation that this is not about beauty or height or being fair.
Right.
So the whole idea about being in this program, we don't even call it a pageant most of the time, we call it a program, the Miss Malaysia Indian Global Program.
That's how it's transitioning or morphing into.
It is. It started out with the idea of wanting to build on the self-esteem and self-development of the Malaysian Indian girl, because at that point, especially, there were many issues with regards to how girls were being presented, how they carried themselves, how they, even now, not so much now, but at that point, there was a need. So Mrs. Rani, when she started off the entire program, she just got a group of women, volunteers, and they decided, you know what, let's do something for the Malaysian Indian girl. Let's celebrate them, you know, and let's give them a bit of that push that they need. Let's give them that skill. So that's how it started off. But right now, even at the first stage of the program, the girls are put through a personal enhancement program first, before they're even shortlisted. So we're being fair. We are giving you the training, we are giving you that push, and so everybody benefits. And as they get on to become semi-finalists or final or eventually finalists, then they go through the rigorous training which comes every weekend.
Right. You know, there's just so many things or many trials and different problems and challenges that they've faced along the way in this 15 years. And I've, through the grapevine, heard about it because I work in the media, and you know how they've moved from strength to strength is an amazing story, something we want to talk about at some stage when we have a 1-hour show with Mohana Priya at some stage. Well, but for now, let's talk about the grand finals. The grand finals are very near. Tell us about what's planned for this year.
Well, it's our 15th year, and it's happening just this Friday, 3rd of October, at Pullman Hotel in Bangsa. And we've got 15 finalists who will be taking part. They have 3 segments on that night, which is the heritage round. They start off with the sari, followed by the evening wear, and finally we've got the question and answer segment, where top 5 are selected, and the 5 girls will be put through the question and answer segment. So the evening wear segment this year will be designs from Bill Keith, Alvin Tay, and Hazri Wahid. So we're really looking forward to that.
So how do you work with these guys? What is there kind of an MOU with these designers, or do they just step in to come and do it, or are they paid to come and do it?
They're not paid. They're not paid. They've always come into the program as designers who want to collaborate with us, because they've seen the work that goes into the program, the self-development that the girls go through, and the boost that the girls get. And having these top designers design for us, honestly, it's a boon, because they come back every year and they're very supportive, especially Mr. Bill Keith. And as you know, he's one of the veteran top designers in the country. And he's actually overseeing...
Bill Keith. Look, if you're looking for a fashion designer, it has to be Bill Keith. Coming back to what we're talking about.
So he's actually overseeing the elegance round this year, and we're bringing it to a different level. So it's going to be great. We're celebrating the 15th year. So like you said, it's not been an easy road, because we're all volunteers, all of us. We have former queens, former finalists, former semi-finalists who've all come back and who work on this every year. So we take time off and get this done. It's done under the Miss Malaysia India Care Association. So that was the NGO which I helped set up way back in 2002.
So you're very passionate in doing this, and you've made sure it's moved on to something else, and it's now helping a lot of different girls. I personally was in one of the programs speaking to a bunch of women, and I kind of enjoyed it. We were talking about self-defense and what self-defense is about. This happened some years ago. Didn't even know 2 years have gone by so fast. So there are 15 finalists. Let's talk about the 15 finalists and how they made that journey from start to where they are now.
So These girls actually come from a pool of girls who've applied from across the country. As you know, this is a national event. So among the 15, we've got girls from Pahang, from Sabah, from Kedah.
Right.
And the journey that they've come through is that they've gone through the personal enhancement program I spoke to you about earlier. That was held in PD. It was a camp. First shortlisting there, and followed by the semi-finals, which was held in collaboration with University Science Malaysia.
Right.
And that is the Community and Environment Awareness Camp. So they go through 3 days of camp where they're put through the rigors of environmental issues. And this year they focused on coral bleaching, the issues attached to the environment, the sea, the marine life, because Professor Zulfiqar Yassin is formerly from the University Science Malaysia, the School of Biological Sciences. They are the ones who collaborate with us every year. So there's a team of scientists there to guide the girls, to tell them about how man's action basically affects the environment, and how the environment is crucial to how we live, which is something many of us take for granted, I think.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And when the girls go through the this whole process of learning these things, do some of them cop out and say, no, this is not for me, or do they find it interesting?
To be honest, because many of them come with the knowledge that this is a learning curve, not so much a competition about beauty, they do stick it out.
Right.
And the more they learn, the more they want to know. But there are girls who will come and think that, oh, I thought this was just a catwalk thing, and looking pretty and wearing makeup.
Right.
So those girls will drop out.
Yeah,
yes, yeah. I must say that this is the most difficult pageant in the country.
So that's happening on Friday. Well, what are we looking for in the next Queen?
Well, we are looking for an ambassador. So we'd like a role model, somebody who's got empathy, because we need
somebody
her to
who ages
be
like wine. Oh, I can't say wine in this country. Syrup.
Ages is a taboo word. We shouldn't be using that.
Oh, okay, someone who stays young.
So so finding the right person is important, but then again, we have all top 5 of the Miss Malaysia Indian Global. Out of the 15, there will be a top 5. So the top 5 are committed to running and developing a community service project of their own. So that is our contract with them, that they must do a community service project that benefits any segment of society, something that's close to their hearts.
Right.
So they identify a cause, they develop, they conceptualize it, they find the budgeting for it. If they want to raise some funds for an NGO, so be it. We leave it open, but our clause with them is just that please just do a community service program, because that's our philosophy and that's the concept that we want the girls to understand. And because it's not just about being pretty and being youthful or being up on stage.
Well, you know what they say? They say, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. She's done a hell of a lot for this country, and well, it's time for us to ask what we can do to help her. So what kind of help do you need from us?
Well, it'd be
to
nice
support
if
this event,
it'd be nice to have maybe the new Queen come on here and speak to you, because we do need a platform. Having the girl there is one thing, but having the media supporters is very important. So we understand that.
Right.
And when they do develop their projects and all, we do lean on the media to give coverage and to publicize the event. That's important. But as a community, I think there's a lot that we can do, because encouragement and support is something that's still a bit lacking, because the perception is still that, oh, it's a beauty pageant, and many people are against it. People are like, oh, in this age, beauty pageants are, that's...
Well, beauty pageants have transformed from what they used to be. You need to have a brain these days. Yeah?
I think it's going in that direction. It's not just our pageant, but I think the whole idea, the kind of girls who take part in this, they are particular about what they associate themselves to.
Right.
So being in a program that has content is very important.
And well, what I think I like about this, when I met the girls last time around, is this program teaches them to be themselves. Remember how we used to, when I first joined radio about 15 years ago, I was told I had an Indian accent. I needed to sound like I was British. This was during the time of Yasmin and Yusof and all that. Things have moved forward, things have changed so much. And now as Malaysians, we are learning how to be ourselves. And I think this program helps women understand who they are and learn about how to integrate with the rest of society. You know, tertiary education doesn't cut it. You need to have something more than that. And I think this is that more we're looking for always. It was a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much. Beautiful as ever. We'll always make time for Mona Priya. She's done a lot for the country and also for national TV. We'll be hoping to have her back again at some stage to talk about her life as a presenter right here on Bernama Today. Stay with us. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be speaking to Harnish Kaur. Fabian Nastas will be speaking to her in a short while right here on Bernama Today. Stay with us.